Hi boys and girls, today we're going to continue to talk about symmetry. Now we know symmetry means it's the same on both sides. Something that is symmetric is the same on both sides, but we're not talking about regular symmetry. Today we're talking about radial symmetry. Radial comes from the word radius. Now as you can see, they both start with the same four letters. Radial, radius, both having to do with a circle. Radial coming from the word radius, which pretty much just means the area around a circle. The radius is the area around the circle, from where the circle starts to where the circle finishes. So radial symmetry, if symmetry means it's the same on both sides, then radial symmetry means the same on every side of a circle. But how many sides is there to a circle? The answer is countless. I could keep cutting this circle into smaller and smaller pieces, and each section would continue to be symmetric. So when we make our radial symmetry design, our design is going to be the same in however many sections we decide to make it. So let's get started. First thing you're going to need is that small square and a pencil. So first thing I'm going to do with my pencil is I am going to choose one of the bottom corners of my small square to focus on. Whichever corner I decide to use is going to be where my design centers around. So I'm going to pick this corner, and I'm going to use simple lines and shapes to create my design. Now you'll see I'm focusing on that corner, so everything is radiating from that bottom corner. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill my whole square with different lines and shapes and patterns until I've reached the top corner of my square. Okay, so I finished my design. I feel pretty good about it. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this little square over. I'm going to grab my graphite stick, which is pretty much just a giant pencil, and I'm going to start to color in the back side of my design. Now, if you see your design starting to pop through the graphite, no big deal. That's totally normal. That's just from pushing your pencil onto the paper. And what you're going to do is you're going to give a little bit of pressure with your graphite stick, not so much where you break it, but you're going to color in the entire back side of your small square until you have no more peekaboos. Okay, I feel pretty good about that. I'm going to set that to the side, and I'm going to grab my big square next. Now, your hands might be a little bit dirty from the graphite. That's okay, no big deal. You'll survive. So I'm going to take this big square, and the first thing I need to do is, of course, write your name and room number. No name, no fame, people. Write your name and room number and then flip it over so you cannot see your name and room number. From here, I'm going to take my square, I'm going to line up my edges, and I'm just going to fold it right in half. Give it a good crease. And now I'm going to take this shape and I'm going to fold the top down onto the bottom so that I now have a small square. Once I have it folded into fours, I'm going to go ahead and open up my square, and I should have 4 sections folded in my bigger square. From here, I'm going to take my design that I colored the back of with my graphite, and I'm going to line it up in that first section with that center point in the middle of my square. Remember, we focused our design around that center point or that corner, so I'm going to line that up in the center. I'm going to hold it down nice and tight, and I'm going to use my pencil to trace right over the design I have drawn. Now, when I'm tracing this, I really want to make sure I'm staying on my original design and I'm giving a little bit of pressure. Again, not so much where you're going to break your pencil, but enough so that you're pushing that graphite onto the big square and transferring your design. Okay, I have my design traced over, and as you can see, I have a light transfer of my design in my first section. If there's any parts you need to fix, do that now. And then what you're going to do is take your small square and you're just going to rotate around that center point into the next section. You're going to line it up in that second section, and you're going to do the same thing with your pencil. You're going to trace right over your design, giving a little bit of pressure until you have transferred your design yet again into your second square. Now you're going to continue this process of transferring your design into all 4 sections. The most important thing to remember is to rotate that design around the center so that you are creating radial symmetry. Okay, so I have all 4 of my sections transferred and traced, and I have created a design that shows radial symmetry in all 4 sections. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take a thin Sharpie and you are going to go right over all of the design that you just transferred with your thin Sharpie to really make it stand out. Take your time with this, stay on your original design, and make your radial symmetry look really nice. Okay, so I've traced over my entire design with Sharpie. I can now go back and erase any graphite or pencil marks that might be left behind. And then if you have time, you can absolutely go in with colored pencil or a coloring of your choice and color your design. But remember, keep it symmetric.